Joining us on the line from New York is Sean King, Senior Vice President of Park Strategies, and also still with us, Kelvin Tay from UBS Wealth Management. Sean, how significant is it that Obama's first overseas trip since being reelected is to Southeast Asia? What does this tell you about the U.S.'s plans to sort of pivot towards this region?
Well, I mean, ASEAN was going to have the summit there, so you could argue that this trip would have happened anyway. But I think it's very significant. It shows the pivot is real, and it shows the president is committed to Asia. And I'm very pleased with his visit to Myanmar.
Is this an endorsement of the Burmese government? What do you make of the criticism that's been lobbied at the president?
Well, I'd say it's an endorsement of what's happened so far, which has happened, and more has happened quicker than we ever thought would happen at all. I mean, Bill Clinton went to Vietnam in 2000, and they still haven't even begun to contemplate the kind of changes that Myanmar has already put in place. You know, this is also part of a wider strategic pivot to encircle China with, or balance China with friendly democratic nations. And, you know, he is not going to the capital. He's meeting with the opposition leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, and at her house, which is also symbolic because she was under house arrest there. I don't know why she spent so much time in her house. If I've been locked up there for 15 years, I want to stay as far away as possible, but that's her call, not mine. And he's going to press them on the rights of the Rohingya. And, you know, Tencent said they're going to let a UNHCR office open there. He's going to consider giving them citizenship because they're viewed by people there sort of like as gypsies, or the Roma people are viewed in Southeast Europe. And he's going to really press hard on military cooperation with North Korea. So, you know, as you said in the lead-in, it's 6 hours. He's going to hit the issues hard. He's not going to the capital. And for what has happened in such a short period of time, I think this warrants a visit, and it's clearly in U.S. strategic interest. Also, remember, he's going to Cambodia, which is, for all effective terms, a Chinese client state, and Thailand's kind of a wash because the Thaksin family has friendly business relations with China. But now that it's a democratically ruled country again, Leon Panetta did give them military exchanges last week. But Myanmar is clearly in the win column. By going there, he's putting it in China's face, and I think it's a great move by the president.
Simon, how soon do you think U.S. capital is likely to move into Myanmar in terms of investments? And if it does so, which sectors do you think are likely to actually benefit from those flows? Energy,
infrastructure, consumer goods like Procter & Gamble, Coca-Cola. As far as I know, Coca-Cola and Pepsi are already there. But I think the real first-mover advantage in Myanmar is going to go to Japanese companies. ANA is already doing 3 weekly flights, I think. They have a colonial relationship there. It's definitely anything that's a loss for China, which Myanmar is opening up, is a net gain for Japan, especially in current situation. And Myanmar, Burmese consumers have a very positive view of Japanese products. So I think for Americans, you're going to see consumer goods, energy, infrastructure, but I think probably Japanese will make more out of Myanmar before we do, but we won't be far behind.
Sure, and I'm sure this visit to Asia, this pivot towards Asia, is going to ruffle the feathers with the Chinese. Is there going to be any sort of ripple effect across the relations between China and the U.S. now that they're pivoting towards this area?
Yeah, there already is, but that's the whole point. I mean, you can't just leave Asia to the influence of a giant autocratic neighbor that doesn't even respect the rights of its own 1.3 billion people, let alone those outside its borders. So, you know, the pivot is in response to other countries asking us to play a more positive role because they feel intimidated and overshadowed by China. So, yeah, it's going to ruffle China's feathers, but, you know, so be it. That's what this is all about.
Okay, Sean, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.